Quite a number of stories. Welcome back to the program. This is the newspaper review segment of Daybreak, and of course, as is customary, I have a copy of the Daily Trust with me. We go quickly to the front page of the Daily Trust. Lead story there says petrol pump price nears 1,000 naira per litre in FCT states. Supply on, off nationwide. CSO knocks NNPCL. National Oil Company silent. NJCO case Kekirekon as CJN, 28 others as judges, while EFCC is holding NACON chairman. APC dismisses claims of Ganduje's replacement, fixes September 12 for NEC meeting. Atop the page says presidential jets, federal government, Ogun, rebuff Chinese firms' claims. Mixed feeling as inflation drops in July. And also, Mpox, federal government puts Abuja, Kano, Lagos, 6 others on high alert. We now go to the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian front page says, the leading story there, rinse and repeat. Nigeria awaits Los Angeles Olympics after Paris 9 billion naira poor outing. And we see some pictorials there, of course, of different Nigerian athletes during their participation at the Paris Olympics. Also, falling food prices moderate inflation spike amid sustainability concerns. Senate defends running costs for lawmakers. Also, address hardship to avert another protest, Udenta tells Tinubu. International embarrassment, says Obi as federal government moves to recover seized jets. Discos defend tariff hike, claim Band A customers pay lowest rates in West Africa. Other stories on The Guardian says Bauchi Emirate withdraws senator's chieftaincy over alleged disrespect for governor. That story is on page 30. Mpox, NCDC places airports, seaports, states on high alert. Court orders forfeiture of $2 million, shares, properties linked to Emefiele. And these are some of the stories on the front page of The Guardian. And we now come back to the studio where we have joining us to do analysis on the front page of the papers, and some of the stories therein is the editor of 21st Century Chronicle, talking about no other than Nuruddin Abdullah. Editor, welcome to the program.
Good morning,
I was just mentioning that it seems like you've deviated a little bit from the political ideology of the Niger State governor. You're not.
So where are you placing me today?
Well, maybe as the program continues, would find an appropriate place. But then again, fuel price nearing 1,000 naira to a litre, and we see across different parts of Abuja. I don't know for other parts of the country. I know our reporters in Lagos have told us that it's a similar situation there. 1,000 naira, the fuel is still scarce. What's your take?
I think only one reason. Zanga, like you mentioned before.
Okay.
It seems that even the NNPC is it has exhausted its excuses so far. You know, the other time when something like this happened, you know, they made mention of logistics. Remember? That was the time they say it was because of, was it flood? So now, they didn't mention it, but apparently they will say because of the bad governance protest.
Okay, so it has also unfortunately impacted fuel supply.
So apparently, it's in your story, the EFCC's mom, maybe it is now desperately looking for excuse to. But I think the situation is getting out of hand. Subsidy has been removed officially. So what is really happening?
And Nigerians still cannot find petrol. But what's your take on the initial announcement that the Port Harcourt refinery was supposed to commence operation in a couple of weeks, but now we've heard that has been postponed. Some were saying that maybe the refinery was not aware that it was supposed to commence operation. Maybe the government didn't inform the refinery, and now we are seeing a postponement.
No, but it is not the presidency that is speaking. It is the NNPC,
Exactly.
the owner of the Port Harcourt refinery.
This brings us back to the conversation. So how do we address this problem of fuel scarcity if the subsidy has been removed, the refineries are yet to start working optimally? Dangote is complaining that he has not been given crude. What seems to be the situation?
Do you have the crude to give to Dangote?
Well, perhaps if I did, I would have given it to him. Maybe you have the crude, I don't know.
Okay. I think we are being political. Even this Port Harcourt refinery, apparently the NNPC management is under intense pressure. So they give you fake, unrealistic timelines. But if not, Port Harcourt refinery is under NNPC. The contractor doing the turnaround maintenance is hired by NNPC. They are the one funding it. So it's no big deal. The Port Harcourt refinery is not located in Jupiter, Mars, or elsewhere. It is in Nigeria. You understand? But because of intense pressure the NNPC is going through, they have to be making all manner of political pronouncement. Going to Dangote, look at the problem now. How even are we going to, even the presidency, all manner of conflicting, when you analyze the pronouncements by the NNPC, by the presidency, okay, now there is a presidential order that the NNPC should sell Dangote and other local refiners crude in Naira. What we don't know is it the Naira equivalent? If a dollar, for instance, now in NAFEM officially is about 160 plus. So is Dangote giving us 160, 1,600 Naira instead of the dollar? So how does this add up? And which crude? Most of our crude is through the JVC, 60-40. Most of the part of this, our 60%, NNPC cannot even fund it. So the IOCs now have to fund part of it. So at the end of the day, it will end up 70 or even 75, 25. So that 25 that you got is what you have international obligations. Some of you have even collected the money.
Some have been mortgaged somewhere else.
Long ago. And it is from that you'll give to Dangote. Because you remember Dangote's problem started with the IOCs, that they are selling their product at the price higher than
at a
they have the right to do it.
Indeed.
So how are you going to now fund in give Dangote 650,000
barrels alone?
Exactly. How are you going to achieve that?
And we're still at 1.2 million barrels a day.
You cannot even meet your OPEC quota. Up till tomorrow, even yesterday or day before yesterday, Mele Kyari is still talking about crude stealing. So apparently it seems that we are not even serious.
But editor, in all of this, Nigerians yesterday, met another sort of breaking news that some government aircraft were withheld in Paris. I see you're smiling. I want your take on this development, because it seems like Nigerians are contending with a lot of challenges at home, and things are still showing that they can still go wrong outside the shores of Nigeria. Let's not talk about the Olympics yet. The $9 billion that has led the Guardian. Let's talk about this.
Maybe, with all this inflation and what have you, maybe the story, when I saw it, I thought it was fake news.
Okay.
But do you know what that means? Nigeria is gradually becoming a banana republic, a laughing stock. Our weaker, let me use that word, our weaker neighbors are laughing at us because of the ECOWAS mismanagement. Nigeria is heading
we're talking about Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger.
They are laughing at us. That is one. Secondly, these private jets matter. We haven't learned anything. The arbitration panels in the UK, France, and the US, they are not your magistrate or high court that you can summon the judge overnight. No. They go by the books. The problem is this: when you have weaker institutions, when some directors, permanent secretaries are very unscrupulous, they collect money just like the PID issue. Do you understand? You don't challenge the thing on the pages of newspaper. You should have your people. In Paris, just yesterday, there is another court of appeal in the UK, in the US, has affirmed the Chinese right to confiscate those onshore
assets, offshore assets.
You understand? So that is it. And again, the major or the bigger problem is this. How is all this now? How will all these issues affect your FDI? Where you go to court with virtually every international investor. Well, you remember the Mambila issue? Mambila has been stalled completely because of
these issues.
I don't think even the arbitration matter has been. And the way Nigerian government do, they thought that it's one magistrate in one village or whatever that they will. No. They won't even send representative. That's what happened in Mambila. There was judgment. They agree on out of court settlement. The time lapsed. Even the same UK something. It's the same thing. But how will a white man in the UK, US, Spain, Netherlands, bring his money and invest? Immediately there is a change of government. Will just
investment turns to waste. But then, conclusively, what do you make of the back and forth that Nigerians seem to have, especially with regards to Senator's earnings? Senator Kau Somaila so graciously came out to announce that his earnings for the month cumulatively is 21 million, 1 million naira in salaries, and then cumulatively 21 million naira in earned allowances and, of course, running costs.
In my take, we are dissipating energy on issues that are not. I'm looking at the whole picture. This year, we have 28 trillion naira budget.
Now 35.
Okay.
Now 35.
Wow.
Yes, it did.
35. Out of it, less than half a trillion is what was allocated to the National Assembly. 460 members, hundreds of aides, hundreds of bureaucracy, the National Assembly Service Commission, the National Assembly, the Education Arm, the Public Complaint Commission. Couple of thousands of people sharing their money. It's about 300 billion plus, right? So we are dissipating energy on such. We should grab the chief executives. How much is allocated to power, let's say, for instance? How much is allocated to works? How much is allocated to defense? Where every day from Tua to Gusau and whatever, people are being stopped and taken away and sold like chickens and rams. We should not dissipate energy on. It's less than 1 trillion naira with the country's budget of 35 trillion that you just mentioned it. I'm not supporting the senators. Over there, they have
I feel there are bigger problems.
They are not.
So they are.
If you are a senator from your state now, you don't live in a villa. Whether you like it or not, your constituent must meet you in the office, must meet you at home if you decide not to go back to your state. We are dissipating energy on just 300 billion out of 35 trillion. I think we will have to expand our scope, hold the right people responsible. So this salary, I am not saying that the 70,000 whatever, all over the world, professors in the US are not well paid. If you want to get money, there are certain businesses,
channels
that you make money. In the US, people make money in businesses and go to Senate. So that is it.
All right. So we'll definitely continue this conversation another time. But for now, for lack of time, we'll unfortunately have to call it a wraps on the program. Editor Malam Nuruddin Abdullah, the editor of 21st Century Chronicle, has been with us doing an analysis on some of the stories that made it to the front pages. And of course, conclusive statements saying that perhaps Nigerians might have been focusing, on the wrong issues regarding 21 million naira as opposed to a 35 trillion naira budget that they can demand so much more from. But then it's been a pleasure, of course, always having you here with us in the studio, editor.
My pleasure for having me, Mr. Gill.
Yes, indeed. And of course, we call it a wrap on the program. We do hope that you enjoyed every single segment of the program. And if you have missed any part of the program, do well to follow us across all of our social platforms and catch our live stream on YouTube for more news, programs, and documentaries. For me, it's a wrap. Sagir Ibrahim is my name. Thank you so much for watching. And up next is 360 Sports. Do stand by.